Marvel Comics creators Al Ewing and Donny Cates both share some interesting similarities in their past works. Both creators at one point have worked on the Hulk property, and both creators at one point have worked on the Venom property. Today, the duo is teaming up to give a brand new issue of Thor that brings Venom into the mix. But with Venom's current status quo involving time traveling, science fiction, and multiversal threats, how on earth is Thor going to get mixed up in the middle of Venom's current machinations? My name is Braddock, and today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Thor number 27 in depth. But before we do so, I want to encourage you to go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel if it's your first time checking out our content. And so go ahead and hit that like button on the video as well. Next up, let me introduce the creative team for Thor number 27. So this issue is plotted by Donny Cates and Al Ewing, but Al Ewing wrote the script for this particular issue. There is guest art from Salvador Larroca, colors from Edgar Delgado, and letters from VC's Joe Sabino. And the issue has a gorgeous cover from Nic Klein that I want to go ahead and show off as well. And I also wanted to go ahead and read off our solicitation text for the issue. Donny Cates writes Venom once again alongside guest artist Salvador Larroca. In this team-up of kings, Thor, King of Asgard, and Eddie Brock, King in Black, must set aside their personal differences to save the one thing they both love, Earth. So this issue was very amusing to me because when I opened it up at first, I wasn't sure if there was going to be anything substantial tying Thor to Venom after all. But I knew that this script was from Al Ewing, who's written some incredible series that we've covered up on the channel, like Defenders Beyond. So I figured if I just let myself get a little bit deeper into the narrative, I would maybe start to see some of those elements from Venom or other comics start to give way. In fact, I was almost halfway into the issue and I was still not seeing some of those moments until finally they hit. And let me tell you, when Venom first kind of arrives in Thor number 27, he does so in a bombastic manner that is incredibly well captured from artist Salvador Larroca that will immediately arrest readers into the story. This Thor issue is going to be a really fun kind of diversion for the entire Venom series by Al Ewing, Ram V, and Brian Hitch, because the issue references Bedlam, who's a character that we've covered up on this channel. It's really clever how Al Ewing kind of enters the story because he really just catches readers up to Thor's current status quo. They reflect on that Banner of War crossover and basically just explain what Thor's been up to, kind of in the past couple comics. I think it does a really excellent job making you put your guard down because you don't realize the kind of secrets that the issue has until you get kind of deeper and deeper in the issue. I almost thought that the cover was going to be a misnomer when I was, reading it the first time until Venom shows up and the book really starts to shift gears and change course. It definitely references the time travel element that has really made this new Venom comic stick out from some of its contemporaries or previous runs. I don't want to go any further in the review without talking about Salvador Larroca's art, because I do think that this is one aspect of Thor number 27 that does not always work in the book's favor. I have found here that some of the shading in Larroca's art is really what detracts from my enjoyment of it. If you look at how kind of excessive Thor's biceps are in this issue, and then look at how like the shading, from like the dark muscle just makes it look really like ominous in this last panel, That's a good kind of reflection of how I feel about Larroca. Also, it's really frustrating to get Larroca drawing faces so differently depending on which panel that you're looking at Larroca's art in. It just makes it a little bit less clear and a little bit more difficult to like tell what people are thinking in page after page as well. And some of the like anatomy, like especially the muscles, are just exaggerated to an absurd degree here that does, I think, detract from my enjoyment of the issue a little bit. I do think that we need to give Larroca praise for changing up his art when the issue references kind of some older Thor stories. I think he did a good job shifting gears for those moments. Also, Larroca executes Ewing's vision for the reveal of Venom in this issue pretty well. So I have to give Larroca props here. It seems like they have basically that Al Ewing and Larroca have somewhat of a relationship working together, or that they really seem to understand the scripts on like a very, very deep level, which I think causes this issue of Thor in particular to really kind of stand out. But it's still the end of the issue when Al Ewing starts laying on the science fiction concepts and grasping some of the plot threads from the Venom series that really make this issue stand out in particular for me. I love it when Venom first shows up and he has such like a cavalier attitude despite everybody else on the page being like, what the heck are you doing? Where did you come from? It's just a fantastic moment in the issue, and the science fiction threads that develop as the issue progresses are really fascinating, and I'll be very curious to see like how the next issue handles the battle between Thor, Venom, and their new but familiar foe who has just resurfaced. So those are my thoughts in a nutshell of Thor number 27. I think this issue is incredibly fun because it starts off as an innocent new chapter into Thor's life, recapping what came before diverting into the weird and wonderful direction of Marvel's current Venom comic book. Did you like this issue as much as I did? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video, and I'll be back next week for some great comic book content. I'll see you then. Bye.